Thank you. Once again, thank you. If you're watching us, this is CTD Among Blacks. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and you can call me your fresh. And this is CTD Among Blacks. Today on this episode, I have a wonderful friend. She's been a friend for a while now, and basically we've had some conversation that I believe it would be a nice thing to have her on the channel to tell us some things about and to help people that have the same experience or that are still in that kind of a situation to know how to go. And like I always say to people, our goal and objective and vision is to bring awareness to things that we go through in our community. And we're not trying to enforce our idea or vision on how we might see things, but it's just a room to create discussion that I know for a fact in America people don't have a lot. And so with that being said, to me today I have Kaydee, like I used to call her, but she's going to call it in an American way because I don't want to call it in Nigerian way like I used to. So, Kaydee, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay, well, hello, y'all. My name is Khadijah. KD for short. Some people say Khadijah or Khadijah too, but
Thank you.
It's Khadijah. I'm glad to be here. Excuse me. I'm glad to be there. I cannot wait to dive into the discussions. I'm ready to talk and see what you got.
Thank you very much for that. I think I'm so impressed with your introduction to it. I feel like I gotta learn from you about that though. I'm still new my own way, but I like that. Thank you very much for that. So what we're gonna be talking about today is we're still under the season of cultural shock, but what our topic for today is gonna be how the experience Nigerian born in America, the perspective was how they see and things they go through in Nigerian community in America.
Okay.
I will say this about Khadijah. She's born in America, but she's Nigerian American, and she has never been to Nigeria.
No, never.
But she has so much attribute that a lot of Nigerians do that if she doesn't tell you, you will never think she hasn't been to Nigeria. And for the fact that I talked to her the first time she was telling me like I've never been to Nigeria, the expression I have from my face got me caught up where I feel like kind of having this stereotype way of I didn't expect that from her. And I think that was one of the reasons why I said I wanted to come on the podcast on this channel to can be the face to help a lot of people to understand like there's nothing wrong and there are people like you that have never been to Nigeria but that embrace Nigerian culture in a positive way. So with that being said, my first question I'm gonna ask you is how is it growing up being a Nigerian American in America?
I would say that you get the best of both worlds, right? Because you get your Western culture, right, from outside the home, and then you get your Nigerian culture from inside the home, family, friends, like going to like religious events. Because I'm Muslim, right? So I get it from going to mosque.
You Muslim?
Yeah, I'm Muslim.
By your parents make you know like you're Muslim?
Yeah, so like I was my mom is Muslim. And then so I grew up Muslim. Like there was a point in time where I wanted to make sure that I was like Muslim by choice and not because I was raised that way, just because I didn't want to have resentment for a religion that wasn't truly for me. So I went through a whole little thing where I like went to church, and figured out like, okay, is church, do I feel at home at church, right? Like, is this comfortable for me? And I did that, and like I did that for like maybe 6 months. And I learned that like church just wasn't home for me. Like I just never felt comfortable. My soul didn't feel comfortable in it. And then I went back to mosque, and like I knew like truly like it felt like home. So like I'm Muslim, not by
by mistake.
Yeah, not by verb.
Like you
not
rep
talk,
it, rep
but
it.
like I go to mosque.
Yeah,
I
your name,
fast,
Kaydee.
everything. And so like I'm Muslim. And so like that's where I get like all my Nigerian, like just listening, like also like listening to music and stuff like that, like going to things that represent my culture. That's kind of like how like when I was in college I was in NSA at U of H, like being a part of things like that to help bring me closer to my culture.
Shout out to U of H, right?
Okay, go Cougs, woo!
Yeah, shout out to all
yeah. So like that's how I learned about me, and of course, my mom and my family, like that's number one. So it starts from home.
I want to ask you this. It's kind of tricky in the two ways. Growing up, being in the Western world, and you being able to recognize yourself as a Nigerian American.
Yeah.
Having to have people that don't recognize themselves as American Nigerian. For you growing up, how does that kind of help you? Does that make you look different? Does that make you special? Were you having any stereotype of Nigerians that you find it hard to find yourself in that community of Nigerians growing up?
So I will say that being Nigerian American, right, and then befriending or speaking to people who are Nigerians who come to America, you find yourself in a place where you feel like you kind of have to prove how Nigerian you are, right?
To Nigerians?
Yes. What?
Wow.
Being Nigerian American, sometimes you have to prove to other Nigerians that you're Nigerian because
growing up,
growing up, like, and
wow,
then, yeah, like, I mean, and like the thing is, I feel like I probably didn't experience it until like more so I got to like college, because when you're younger, everybody's in the same boat as you. Like everybody doesn't have that mindset yet. It's only when you're older, because now you're mixing with not just like people who are like your age, but you're mixing with people who are older than you when you're in college, when you go out to clubs, parties, events, things like that. You're not mixing with people who have like, who may have just come here, or they've been here since they were like maybe 16 or 17, but you didn't grow up with them, things like that. So you have to, it's a different space with them too sometimes. And so sometimes you have to prove like how Nigerian are. Like I get asked, like, oh,
how does that make you feel trying to prove to the community that you think? So this is the thing. I've heard a lot of Americans that I have as friends, like, this country is kind of messed up for you. Like you can't even, trace where you're from. But for you, you were able to trace where you're from. I'm an American, but I have a part of me that's from Nigeria, like, and easily.
Yeah.
And when you find yourself in the community of those of your caliber age, and they're kind of telling you to prove, how does that make you feel being around Americans and they ask you a question and you're like, yeah, do you believe they are people? My people want me to prove to them I'm a Nigerian. How does that pave way for you around? What was that experience growing up?
So like, and having to prove that I'm Nigerian, right? Like people ask you questions like, oh, what kind of food can you cook? This can you speak this? Or like if I tell them, oh, I understand Yoruba but I don't speak it, it's like, oh, so then they'll now be asking me like bare questions in Yoruba, like, oh, what's your name, where are you from, things like, they'll start asking me questions like that, and I'll be responding, and I'll respond in English, and just like, and then they're shocked. They're like, oh my God, what are you really doing?
Do you like it, or it
and
makes
I'm just
you
like,
look like...
It's irritating actually, because I'm just like, why do you feel like I need to prove myself? Like, why are you asking these questions? Like, you wouldn't ask your fellow other Nigerian to prove that they're Nigerian because they were born in Nigeria. Like, so why are you asking me because I'm Nigerian American?
How do you manage this when it's happening?
As a...
Do you talk to your mom about it?
No, like, there's nothing to talk to her about. I think I always get that question, like, after I've like proved that I'm Nigerian, it's now, oh, so who taught you? Like, wow. And I'm like, my mom. Like, what do you mean? I was like, I may have grown up in Western America, but the house that I lived in was a Nigerian household. And they're just like, oh my God. And then just like, wow, kudos to your mom. She did a good job. I'm like, kudos to her for doing what a normal mother would do, teaching their child.
So that's how you look at it, right?
I think it's
everything
normal.
Your mom did was
normal. That to me is normal. I feel like, I don't know why Nigerians get so shocked about Nigerian Americans knowing the culture, speaking the language or whatever, things like that, when Asians do this, Hispanics do this, and you don't see that as a shock, because Asian kids who are born here and their parents come from Asia and they're born here, you're not shocked when you hear Asians speaking Korean or Japanese or Chinese. That's like, oh yeah, that should be happening. But why Nigerians think it's oh my God, I can't believe it, and you want to give kudos, that's weird. Like, it should become norm. It should be the norm. Hispanic kids speak Spanish with their parents all the time. We don't think that's crazy. We don't think that's abnormal. That's the norm. Your child should know the language or the culture from from where they come. And the fact that Nigerians sometimes see it as like, oh my God, wow, kudos, great job. Like, that's normal. We should all be doing that.
But this is the thing. Before we move forward, if you're watching, maybe it's morning, it's afternoon, it's middle of the night, you find yourself in the gym, you're driving, or maybe you're in a plane, or maybe you're just having a relaxing time listening to this. This is CTD Among Blacks. And the reason why we call it CTD is to connect all the dots among all blacks around the world. But our main focus is Nigerian and American. And so you can follow us on YouTube and check it out, CTD Among Blacks, on Apple Podcast, on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on Amazon Music. And again, we have a website which is called www.ctdamongbblacks. We have a channel on our website where we allow people to write If you like to write blogs, you can write to us. We'll vet it out. If we think it's going to help our community, we'll surely drop it out and put the credit for you. And one last thing is, if you have any suggestion on any sponsoring thing you would like to work with us, or you have any view you would like to, share your story, you can reach out to us on our email, ctdamongbblacks@gmail.com. With that being said, I want to go back to the question that you're saying. I'm laughing because that's the reason why we have this channel, is to talk about things like this. You will be shocked that somebody like me doesn't know things like this. You might think it's normal because the kind of movie and things we're being told is just being an American is down here. People are being taken, like, you don't have some way to understand some things. Like, I don't think it's normal for you to do what you're doing. I'm being subjected, being stereotyped to think like that towards you. Like, if you're an American, Nigerian American, man, I don't even want to think about how your mom might raise you. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to think like this. So when you tell me it's normal, I'm in denial to believe you're telling me it's normal, like your mom's supposed to train you right. I'm not saying we don't think they don't train their kids right. For the fact that your mom is Muslim and you're Muslim says a lot about your mom. Now, the thing is, you come out right in the sense that, which means there's a lot of family homes that are doing the same thing. We're just denying the fact of embracing you to understand, like, wow, you know what, I would like to learn some things from your mom, because however she might have done it, something I need to learn from. But we're being in denial of that. And that's why you see us like, that's not real. Like, it doesn't make no sense. I hope you get what I'm trying to say.
No,
now.
I get it. 100%. I understand.
So, and I'm trying to say that for people that might be listening to this, because not everybody have the courage of how you're able to go through it. Like I asked Chris, how do you get it? Like, I just figured it out myself.
Yeah.
Not everybody do that. So I want to go further by saying, when it comes to, don't let me go too fast into that. I'm going to try to drag back.
Okay.
Do you think, what would you want to tell Nigerian communities that come from Nigeria, that see somebody like you? I have a reason why I ask you, then I'm tell you the next question.
What I want to tell them?
Yes.
Like, don't be so quick to judge, right? Don't assume certain things. Like, just take us as one of your own, because at the end of the day, we are, right? Like, we're all Nigerian at the end of the day. Like, the same Nigerian blood you have is the same Nigerian blood I have. Just because mine didn't originate there doesn't mean I'm any less Nigerian than you are. Like, I'll be right there next to you at the parties. I'll be right there next to you eating the same food. Like, let's do it.
Thank you for that. My next question is kind of tricky. That, like I said, it's two things I'm trying to put in one. You just talk to Nigerians now that don't understand somebody like African American, but I have Nigerian and American blood. What about Americans that want to mingle with Nigerians? What would you like to say to them?
Come on over. Like, I feel like it's great for them to embrace the Nigerian culture, because when I was growing up, we were all kinds of African booty scratchers. And
they told you that too in school?
Yeah, so, like, the thing is...
How do they know you, but you're bunny head, or how would they figure it out?
Because, okay, so...
Your name?
Yes, right? So, I go by my Muslim name, right? But when I was in school, I went by my Yoruba name.
Oh. That kind of screw you out.
So, when I went by my Yoruba name...
But you still speak American, even though you have a Yoruba name.
But it didn't matter, because my name was different. When you're in elementary school, kids don't care if you speak the language. Your name sounds different. They're gonna make fun of you. So, like, Did
you tell your mom about this?
Yeah, I did tell my mom about it.
So your mom was able to help you through it. How do you... No, what I'm saying now, because this is deep for kids.
Yeah.
Kids experience what you're saying right now. Like, some kids will never have the chance to walk up to their parents and tell them, like, mom, they told me like this in school. Not every kid's talk. Sometimes some kids will pick that path and it becomes how they want to see every black Americans.
Yeah, for sure.
But we all know when everybody's young, it's based on what our parents allow us to learn or how we've been exposed to dictate how we react outside the world. So for those kids, so I'm sure they might not understand what they're doing. They just select the norm. So I'm saying, how do you manage to see the positive side? Because I know you be around Americans. You really don't. I've talked to you a lot. You're not that kind of person being short-sighted about every race, and that's very good of one of you. So how do you manage to, get yourself out of that, fully not thinking they mean bad, but they just don't know better?
So I'm gonna go like from grade school into like kind of adulthood. So in grade school, once again, like everybody makes fun of everybody in grade school because kids are mean, right? Like that's just how we are when we're in elementary school. So we're still learning how to like process people being different from us. So in grade school, like people made fun of my name and stuff, and I got called names because I was like, my name was different, and then like, oh, you're African, da 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 da, and it was more so I told my teacher, I told my mom, and then it kind of got handled, it got settled, and then I guess when you realize like, okay, you're forced to be included and stuff, and then you end up making friends, right? Because now you're kind of forced to be in this circle with these kids, and then then you all become friends, because when you're young, finding a friend is like, from one minute you can be mad, the next minute y'all can be best friends, and that's kind of just how it was. And so
so you're able to get over the
part, like elementary school, elementary school, and then and then I'm like, and I am just the type of person who is normally just like, I'm always kind of in the mix with people. Like, I'm a very friendly person. So like, as I got older, I just kind of kept that same aura about myself. And so keeping that same aura about myself, like, I just continued to make friends. And after elementary school, like, I never was made fun of again. Like, it was just, I was, the girl, I was Buki. That's my Yoruba name. So that was me. Like, and I never had any issues like from elementary school until now. So
oh, so you only have that experience about LinkedIn and just
exactly. Yeah, so
that's great.
Yeah, like, and so
for you
exactly right. So that's not always the same for everybody, because there are people who come when they're like teenagers, and then they're like thrown into like the American public school system, or just like the American school system in general, and they have their thick Nigerian accent, or they don't dress according to societal standards and stuff like that. So they have to now navigate those waters on like trying to assimilate. But it's so hard to assimilate when you're like 15. And you're so used to, you've grown up all this time being a certain way, and now you have to like change and learn. And so sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not.
Oh.
And so like, I've definitely made, and like, I personally, like, whenever I see someone who's Nigerian, like, automatically I'm like, oh, you're my friend. Like, I am automatically, I am that person, like, oh, if I find out you're Nigerian or African in general, I'm like, oh yeah, we're friends. Like, my party, like, that's how I feel. Like, there's nothing, like, I will talk to you like I've known you for years, because why not? Like, we're from the same place. Like, I know
that's how you see it.
That's how I see it. I feel like if I know at least a small part about you, why not be friends? Like, I will talk to you like we've been friends forever. Even if I don't see you again after today, you will be my friend. We gonna walk together, talk together, laugh, kiki, haha, and then go about our business, because I want everybody to feel comfortable. Everybody doesn't do that. Everybody doesn't make everybody feel comfortable. And I know how it feels to be in a space where you want people to talk to you, and then like, you're just like, but I don't know anybody.
What have been the experience at the time of that experience of you trying to meet new people?
Like,
has it been encouraged? Have you been encouraged to want to do more, or you've been like, you know what, I gotta be selective of people I really want to be around Nigerians?
So I will say, like, my personal circle is small. It's very tight knit, because that's just the type of person I am. But I'm still very friendly. Like, I will talk to any and everybody, because at the end of the day, like, I could talk to you today and you could become one of my best friends because I just said hey to you and we just had a random conversation, but like, we like, oh, I vibe with this person's personality. I want to continue talking to them. So that's just how I see it, right? And so I'm big on just making sure that people feel comfortable when they're around me, because I want to be comfortable around other people as well, if I met them for the first time or the 10th time. So that's like where I'm at, like, in my life, I guess.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm about to be tricky next again with this question. When it comes to, I want to ask you this personal, a little bit about relationship thing.
Okay.
What is your perspective about Nigerian men?
Oh, okay.
There are two.
Okay.
Traditional Nigerian men, the one that act like they're more Western, and the one that are born here, but they're Nigerian. Three things. Have you experienced the three or just one?
All of the above.
Ooh, I'm glad. So, depending on how you want to answer the question, just
okay. So first, I'm gonna say Nigerian men. I love Nigerian men. I love my Nigerian men. I love my Nigerian men. I love my Nigerian men.
This one you're blushing about Nigerian. Okay, now I like that.
Because, like,
shout out to a Nigerian man out there.
Okay, yes, shout out to my Nigerian brothers, because look, what? Y'all might be demons sometimes, but I love y'all. Okay.
What do you mean they might be demons?
We're not gonna do this. Let me answer my questions first before we...
I just mean, what do you mean by saying they're gonna be demons, though?
Because we all know Yoruba demons, Igbo demons, Hausa demons, Edo demons, all of them.
So in answer to that, Yoruba are the worst ones, right?
Well, I say Yoruba because I'm Yoruba, so that's always gonna be the first one that comes to my head.
And why would you want to pick Yoruba because you're Yoruba? It's not you gotta sell your people out?
No, I'm saying
you deal with a lot of Yoruba
the
people.
first when it comes, if I'm thinking of Nigerian men, I'm thinking like Yoruba men first because I'm Yoruba, so I'm gonna automatically.
That's what I'm saying. Because you're Yoruba, you're trying to sell your tribe first. Because that's how you think about it.
No,
I'm just messing with you. Don't mind me. I'm just joking with you. But go back to the question.
So, I will.
Shout out to everybody. We're not doing no roasting in here. I'm just trying to crack out so that she tell me the real answer I need.
So I will never say that though. I will never sell my Yoruba brothers.
Thank you for that. Shout out to all tribe, Igbo, everybody.
So.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Nigerian men, I love them, like top tier. I will shout your praises on the highest mountain of the world, because when Nigerian men love and they actually like you, not like fake like you, but like when they really like you and they want to commit to you and everything, like they will do any and everything for you. Like they know how to love when they actually like the person and they actually love the person.
You're making all Nigerian man to blush, and you're like, okay.
Because it's true. Like, have you ever seen a Nigerian man actually in love? Like, it's a very beautiful thing.
But do you know Americans say one thing about Nigeria? They said Nigerian men, they are quick to fall in love. Like after a week.
Okay, so yes, like I've heard that too. I've heard that and I've experienced where like after a week they're just like, oh, I love you, and just like, how can you love me?
So you don't believe in that?
Okay, so it's possible to love.
No, you got to tell me just from your own experience. You don't believe when a Nigerian man tell you like, you know, after 2 weeks.
I don't even want to say that. Like Nigerian man, black man, white, any man who says I love you.
I'm only saying about Nigerian men.
Okay, so I don't think you can truly love someone or like be in love with someone after a week, because there's no way that you know them wholeheartedly inside and out after a week. Now you can say I have love for you because you care about that person. But to be like, oh, I'm madly, deeply in love with you, sir, I'm sure it's probably just lust. It's not real love. So
do you think does American think there should be a split of time before somebody can tell you I love you? Or no, I don't mean that you can't say you love me, because we got to clear, we're not saying Nigerian don't say that word, but it's just the intention that comes with it. So do you think there should be a period of time before that intention start coming out from them?
I mean, if you want to be serious with someone, then your intentions are going to be from the beginning. Doesn't matter.
But that's what Nigerian men do after like a week. Because I saw it online. They say, oh, Nigerian men after 1 week, you about to talk to their mom, talk to their friend, you become a wife. So I'm saying,
so like, it depends on how genuine and real it is, right? Because he might really like you or whatever, which is perfectly cool. But to say that you love me after a week, I'm gonna be skeptical. Because
but why?
Because it's a week.
You just said when somebody love you, the guy to start from the onset.
Yeah, but you don't have to say I love you from the onset.
So American feel like it's wrong when you start telling me, you know, I'll marry you, I'll do this.
I'm not saying it's wrong, because I know people who be like, I met you can say, oh, I met you today, but in their head they're like, oh, you're gonna be my wife, right? Like that happens. People have met and they know within like that 1 week of like meeting a person, like this is the person for me, I'm going to marry them. But you don't have to say it out loud yet. Like, give that other person time to get to know you as well, because they may not feel like, oh, I'm going to marry this person after 1 week. They may not be where you are yet. So you can feel that way. I'm not going to discredit or like take away anyone's feelings, because I can't tell anyone how to feel. But give that other person some time to catch up to you. You know, let them experience you, and then be like, hey, okay, let me know.
No,
let them catch up to you so that they can now be like, okay, you know, like this is the person for me. Everybody doesn't move at the same pace. That's my only thing. Like, you can say, oh, I love you, oh my God, but like, give the other person time to catch up. If they haven't exhibited signs of like love like that, don't do that, because you might scare them off. If a man tells me he loves me in a week, I'm gonna be a little scared. I'm gonna be like, oh, why do you love me so quickly? What's going on?
So you think it's wrong?
I don't think it's wrong. Kind of. I'm just gonna be skeptical. I'm like, why do you like what's going on? Like, why do you love me already?
It's just Nigerian way, you know. That's just one thing we do. Even though it doesn't last. Nigerian men just feel like after like a week, you know, I'll die for you. I'll do this.
But then it's like a lie.
It's not a lie. I'm just telling you that's just a norm.
That's a norm to tell somebody that you love them after.
It's just a Nigerian.
I'm saying you're about them after a week.
No, I'm not in that world like that. Mm-hmm. I don't do I love you in a week.
Okay. Yeah. How long does it take you to say I love you?
I don't even think I use that word often anymore.
Anyway, have you ever said I love you to anybody?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. But
how long did it take you to tell them you love them?
I can tell anybody I love them, but when it comes to female partner, like I take a while to use the word, because my mom told me to. My mom made me to understand one thing: it's easy to say things. Staying into that word is very important.
Yes.
So you can't just tell people things. My mom tell me since I was in my high school, like, don't tell no lady you do this, because there's a power in doing that. So if you can't keep up to your word, find something, or don't find yourself in a situation where you gotta say it.
Your mom's a smart woman.
So one thing I always say when most ladies, now you're trying to put me out there anyway, but I'm gonna say this like this. So when most ladies tell me like, oh, I love you, I always say the word smile. Yeah.
You say smile?
Yeah, I just say smile.
And
Thank
then
you. I've said I love you back to people.
Okay.
That I was once like, okay, you know what? But that's just passing on me. I'm not even about my life now into this. We're about you trying to give us some juice right now. So don't let us just get distracted about where we are. All right.
Okay,
so don't drag me on that journey. That's another episode for another episode.
Okay,
when people want to know did you fresh, then we'll go into that.
I can be the one to ask you the questions.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah,
you.
for sure. Yeah, for real though. I think you'll be good to do that. So like I said, don't let me lose my track of what I'm saying. Yeah, you'll be good. I would like to have you to question me about this, about my personal life. But how has it been for you being around Nigerian women?
So before we go there, because I didn't even get to answer the other question.
You did. You told me about you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So about being around Nigerian women.
Have you had any experience where they call you or they make you feel like, okay, you're African? You're African American. I never condone one word that we both say. I think it was the other. I had one episode like that, but I'm not sure. But I don't want to use the word how Nigerian. We use that word in our community, which I don't condone anymore around me. I was once using it too until when I really take my time to, do some research. And I realized, so when I see people around me, I don't tell them not to say, but I try to tell them like, I'm trying to condone the habit of not using this word because it's like something we use that we don't really understand the effect on the people we're using it to. So I see no reason why, since I know, I should be an advocate to let people know like this is wrong to use. But if you want to use it, that's fine by me because I can't control how you feel, but I just don't use it. So how have it been for you being around Nigerian women when they understand you're African American, because you're African American, you're black, and you have this Nigerian trail in you. Have you ever had any experience you'd like to share, or you've never been around?
So I've been around Nigerian women, and honestly, I don't think I've ever had a bad experience.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't think I've ever had a bad experience.
I think your name has been helping you.
What?
Once they know, yeah.
So, I don't know, because I've definitely met other Nigerian women, and I've never had any issues where like they look at me any type of way, or like they don't talk or anything. Like I've always had good experiences. I think it's just because that's my demeanor, right? Like there are some people who I know like they've met Nigerian women, and like when they meet Nigerian women, like it's a bad experience. Like they get cold shoulders. They get snubbed. They don't get talked to. They just get looked at like with the
why do you think that happens to those people?
I can't say, right? Because some people may be more standoffish. Some people just don't have the ability to like feel comfortable around new people, right? I feel comfortable around new people, like always. Like that's just kind of how I am. I don't know. Like I guess that's like my superpower, right? Is to be able to navigate a room with new and old people and not feel awkward. Like I feel very comfortable. Like I can spark up a conversation with anybody, new or old, and you're like, oh, how long have you known them? Oh, I just met them today. And like, oh wow, that's crazy because I would have thought y'all were friends. I'm like, just met them today. So I think for me, it's just being able to like be comfortable and like be able to talk and like navigate, because once again, like I don't like to be uncomfortable. So I will make sure that I'm always comfortable in all the spaces that I'm in. And then I think with that comes the ability to have conversation with people who I've never met before and just be like, hey, like, what's up, and, enjoy.
So this is the thing about the next question I want to ask you. Is a lot of African Americans want to go back to they want to go to Nigeria. Don't use the word go back to Nigeria. Some that have never visited. There's this internet has helped us to feel like, I want to go to Nigeria when y'all having a parties, something like that. And for you being a Nigerian, you Kaydee, you Khadija, you even say the name right. You understand, like they always say Khadija too, Khadija, and you Kaydee. And how have you been able to have this feeling like, I don't got to go home? Is it because there's no family back home? Or is it because you just don't feel like you got to go? Or is it because you're not there yet? Or it's like, no, which one of everything?
Actually, none of the above. So I actually want to go back to Nigeria. I mean, and I can't even say go back to Nigeria, but I do want to visit Nigeria. Unfortunately, I haven't been yet, and reason like it's just so many different things. Every time it seems I've wanted to go to Nigeria, something has happened which has caused me to not be able to go. Like during, it was COVID times, and then it was like the SARS, and then like there was
between me and you've been traveling though, so don't give
wait,
me
wait,
the
wait,
excuse
wait,
of you not traveling.
No, I didn't say. Listen,
You've been traveling,
I've been...
don't use COVID to tell me you don't travel.
Listen,
yeah, we both know that you've been traveling, so don't use every time I want to travel, something happened, COVID. Can you give me something else that make you feel like you don't got to go to Nigeria yet?
I'm not. Listen, let me finish. Let me land, please. My fellow land. So
you're trying to get people back home to realize that you can speak the language.
No.
Shout out to all Nigerians out there. Shout out to all African American, Nigerian, American born in America that can speak like that too. We really appreciate you. We love that you can embrace that culture so much.
So my mom was like, since it's my first time, my mom wants to go with me. So every time I wanted to go, she's been like, no, it's too dangerous. Like, she was like, during COVID time, she was like, no. So she just wanted me to go my first time without her, just because she's like, it's your first time. I want to kind of be involved and show you how it goes and things like that. I don't want you to get there by yourself and be lost. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can understand that, because just the backlash that Nigeria can get sometimes and things like that. And she doesn't want me to have to go through that by myself, which I can understand and I can respect. So it's been those issues for me. Like, at one point I was trying to go, she's like, it's too dangerous, and I was like, Ma, like, what do you mean it's too dangerous? People going to Nigeria now and they're fine. She's like, no, just wait. She's like, don't worry, we'll go. So it's really me just kind of waiting on my mom right now. I'm also thinking maybe like I'll be able to go with my cousin, like if she'll let me go with my cousin. So it's a work in progress, and mind you, I'm grown, I'm an adult, and I still have to like
take the permission.
Exactly.
I think it's a Nigerian thing though. So this is how crazy. We do back home too.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm speechless about the fact that you have all those, your mom was able to give you all those things, because a lot of Nigerians think, so this is the thing you have. So you have a mixture of traditional Nigerian norms, value, and you still embrace the Western world.
Of course, yeah.
So for people like me that might come here, a lot of traditional people think we're not going to end up being able to produce somebody like you. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Like, your mom was able to make you have both ways, and you value Nigerians, you understand our language, even though you can't speak it, and you still speak well about a couple of words, and you still live in your Western world without not being questioned. That is something, one of the reasons, like I said, I brought you down to the channel, because people think it's not possible. I'm a victim of that too. If we didn't get to become friends, I wouldn't have believed anything like that. And it's something I'm craving to have, so that you can have conversation and help people that are having the same thing to know they are not alone. Mm-hmm. Now I can relate with you. Now that I know I'm not alone. Now I know I'm not going crazy. Now I know that people doing the same thing that I'm doing, that we can all sit and talk, not to change those that don't want to be like this, but just to create a room where we can respect. When you're giving me an advice, I should take it in, not to use the stereotype of feeling, you're African American, you're Nigerian, you don't really understand, which you might be the one that will help me out. You might be the one to change a lot of things that people don't believe that. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. The next question I want to ask you, I have 2 more questions before we go.
Okay.
And I don't want to put you on the line with this. I want to say...
no. Ask whatever you want to ask. I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah. So, no, I know you say you're going. I know you're planning. By the time you put me on the line, you swoop me down the bus. I'm not going like that. So, wait, before we go to the next question, if you're watching, I hope we've been able to say something that kind of engage you. I hope we've been able to, give you something to discuss with friends and family. I hope we've been able to not waste your time by you listening to us. And if you're listening to this seconds, we really appreciate you. Your listening give us the room to realize we're doing something. The goal is to help this generation and to give awareness to the next generation coming after us, because I know what we're doing right now is nobody trying to give room for this. There's nobody talking about the experience you have. Nigerians that in Nigeria doesn't understand somebody like you exists, that have never been to Nigeria but embrace the Nigerian world. Mm-hmm. Because we're being told African American, you're African American, I don't care how everybody want to see it, but if I don't even open that door for you to talk, I wouldn't even know you're a Nigerian. You might portray the Nigerian, and I've met wonderful ladies that I thought they're Nigerians, but they're Ghanaian. Now, I'm going to tell you one tricky thing. I've met a friend, he's a Yoruba guy,
okay,
but he was born in Ghana,
okay,
right? But he go back to Nigeria. And when he speaks English, you could see the Yoruba in his English, but he can't speak Yoruba language. Now, the twist is this. He got married to a Ghanaian lady that was born in Ghana, that go to Nigeria, that can speak Yoruba very, very well.
Wow.
You see the trick? This family are in New York. They're in United States, not back home.
Oh.
Yes, they got 2 kids. They're wonderful. I'm still expecting them. If you're listening to this, I'm still expecting them to have them on my channel. Like, the guy has, Trevor Mac, and he speaks, very quiet guy. He stays a lot in Ghana, but he can't speak my language. But the wife, if she talks, you think she's Yoruba.
I love that.
That's what I'm telling you. When I talk to them, I was like, damn, like, you really help me to understand. Sometimes we just got to be more open-minded when we talk.
Thanks.
Like, there's a lot of people, homes out there in America that they're really experiencing things. We just got to learn from them and be like, this make a lot of sense. Like, don't think everything got to go in my own way. It has to be like this. And that's everything we're doing. So without being taken away out of what we're saying, if you're listening to us, anywhere you might be in the world, afternoon, morning, night, evening, if you're in the park, you're in the gym, you're in the house, you're relaxing, and you took out of your no time to listen to CTD Among Blacks, really appreciate you. We want you to subscribe if you're watching. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Amazon Music, and on Apple Podcasts. We're all live on those channels, and you just not doing that will not even allow you to enjoy more of this. And our goal is for you to enjoy more. And like I said, if you have anything you would like to give us in any story you would like to share with us, you could always reach us on ctdamongbblacks@gmail.com. And our website is www.ctdamongbblacks.com. Sorry for that. I kind of blacked out, So going back to my last 2 questions. Being an American, Black American, do you see yourself getting married to a Nigerian?
Yes.
Woo! Really?
Oh, yes. Okay, so let me tell you something about me. So, like when I started dating and stuff like that, like, I was like, oh, I like black men. So, like, black men could be any kind of black man. Afro-Latino black man, any kind of African black man. That was my mindset. Which is fine. But then, like, as I got older, and it was just like, I love my culture, right? And so, and I'm not saying, like, I couldn't do that with someone who wasn't Nigerian. It would just be harder. And, like, I'm not opposed to working with someone who's not Nigerian and us figuring that out. But I just know, like, it would be easier if I married somebody who was Nigerian.
How do you even come to this? You want to embrace so much about Nigeria?
Because, like, honestly, like, look, shout out to my mom, because, like, my mom is the reason why I love being Nigerian.
Wow.
Like, it's people who are Nigerian and be like, man, I'm not Nigerian, I'm black. And I'm just like, interesting.
Thank you, Mom. You really done it.
Yes, thank you, Mom. Okay, Yabuki. Yes. Like,
the fact that you even say you're Yabuki, you bring the Nigerian Yabuki into how you say it without not going to Nigeria. Like, you've never stepped your foot in Nigeria and you can speak Yabuki. You don't understand. Yabuki has done a big job. Shout out to Yabuki. Anywhere you might be right now.
So it's just like because her, and then, like, I've always been like, my kids must understand and speak Yoruba. Like, that has been a thing that has been on my head since I was, like, as an adult, and just knowing, like, where I want in the future for my children, my life, things like that. So I've always been like, my kids must understand, my kids must speak. Point blank, period. That's what I know. And the best way to do that is to be with a what? Nigerian Yoruba man.
That will be able to embrace that.
That will be able to do that for me, my kids. And then I was like, if he's Nigerian and he doesn't understand, he can't speak Yoruba, but he understands, cool. My kids will be either going to Nigeria for the summers to pick up the language, or my mom, or somebody's mom,
cool.
or somebody's mom has to live with us,
stay.
so that the kids can understand Yoruba, because ain't no way.
Wow, that's so deep of you to even think about it like that.
If I can't speak Yoruba, who's gonna teach them?
Do you realize that I still regard it? Like, I'm not gonna even say we. I'm gonna regard, like, you're still an American. You're Black American. You're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I get into that word, but we'll still go back and say, yeah, American.
Yeah.
And you really want that to happen.
Oh, most definitely.
That's good.
Because I think, like, for me, I think it's so, like, it would be so dope, right? Like, let me say
you just like it,
man. Look,
like, you can't even deny it.
Like, do you understand? Like, to me,
you just
like,
put me in this Nigerian.
To me, your body's sweet, eh? We'll go in the summertime, learn the language, live in Nigeria, learn the hustle life of Nigeria, and you can come back and, hey, teach me what you learned, because by then I may or may not have learned how to speak Yoruba by the time I have kids, but my kids can teach me Yoruba too if necessary, because by force, Like Yoruba will be that the
I like
language in this
that.
household.
I like
And so,
that.
so and that's just for me. That's what I know. Like I'll like my friends who speak Yoruba, I'll be like, yo, speak Yoruba to me. I'm like, yo, teach me. I'm trying to learn. Don't laugh at me when I speak
Shout
Yoruba,
out to your
please.
mom though, because
Because
I think she gave you the culture in a good way that makes you to embrace it. I don't know how she did it because you like talking about this
yeah,
culture.
I do.
You. There's a lot of Nigerians that are still Nigerian born here or that was raised here, but they don't say it just like how you see it, and that doesn't mean they're wrong.
Yeah,
They just don't
it's
have
just-
that vibe
yeah.
like that.
And it's everybody's experience is different. I just know like for me and what I want, like this is what I want. I really, really, really wish I spoke Yoruba now as an adult.
Don't get too hard. You know why I said that? I can speak, I can read. I'm another version of you. I can speak Yoruba language so well, but tell me to read, ooh, boy, because my parents sent me to a white school back home. So I was around white people and, you know, all these colored people. So I really don't experience, in my school, the bunch of like, that's Nigerian, but we really being told to speak English. So
Yeah.
you, even at the break time, you don't really speak our language like that. So when I speak my language when I'm back home. So it's all about me. Like I said one more time, I'm saying it a second time. But the last question I want to ask you is this. What would you tell Nigerians that I just moved here that haven't been opportunity to come across somebody like you? That would end up coming across somebody like you? What are the things what can you tell somebody like that? Like, okay, you know, if you come across somebody like me, why didn't you just act like this? If they tell you this, why didn't you embrace it like this?
So my only thing is like, if you're Nigerian just coming over, like be patient, right? But also understand that like Africa is in, Nigeria is in, Ghana is in. Like I know right now it's like a trend. Like being African is right now. It seems like being African is a flex, right? People love the culture, like to be like, oh yeah, they like to, like, oh yeah, I want to wear the clothes, I want to do this, want to listen to the music, I want to eat the food, you know. So like, we're trending right now, but
It's not
that
gonna be for life.
right. And so while we're trending, show them what it is, right? Let them embrace it, and then let it become a part of something that they can become accustomed to. Don't let us become a trend and then the trend dies, and then like we're back to like a negative stereotype or whatever. Like let them know the
We should use it wise.
exactly, right? And like don't be so quick to be like, oh yeah, you're just American, da, 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 da. Like please, like relax, right? Like we're all here for the same thing. We're all trying to achieve the same thing, a better life, to do this, to be great. Same reason why you're here, right? It's just that I happen to be born here, you happen to just come here. Like we're all here we're all trying to do the same thing. So just be patient, understand that like Africa's in, so look, have fun with it. Like enjoy, befriend people, have friends, make friends. Like don't be so quick to judge someone because they may sound a certain way or they may act a certain way. Like I hate the stereotypes of Nigerians in general in America, because there's so much negative connotation, and everybody's like, oh, scammers, this, that, and the third. But like that is like a small portion of like what everyone is. Like Nigerians, we're so educated, right? We have hustle mentality. Like
How do you manage to have the hustle mentality without not going to Nigeria though?
what? Why?
How does that happen? How do
Because,
you have this Nigerian way of like, man, we got to do this? You know, I'm not about to put your business out, but you know, I know like you hustle, man.
but I mean, because my thing is like at the end of the day, like I'm good, but I want to be great. And then like when you get to that, when you're good and then you get to great, you're back to being good again. So you're like, I want to be great again, and then you get back to good, and then you're like, I want to be great again. So it's like you just keep wanting to level up and make yourself better. And like at some point, of course, it calms down and it stops. But as of right now, I'm still at a point where like I'm good, but I want to be great.
Okay, my manager is trying to shout out to my manager right there. Adebayo is one of the best one I have. He's been giving me some signs, so I'm going to wrap it up because he's telling me I'm trying to take out of the time. So what I want to ask you this, you gotta make it fast for me on this. What would you like to ask Nigerians that if you go to Nigeria? So this is a question when people watch back home, you know, they can put it on YouTube and anything like that. What are the questions you like to ask me back home? That, you know, if I go to Nigeria, these are the things I would like to ask them. Do you have anything you have in mind that you like to try out for people? Or you think maybe they stereotype, you've seen something online that you want to clear out to people back home? Like, I'm not, if you have though, if you don't, let me know, I can ask you something else. But I'm just trying to create that room of maybe there's anything you like to ask Nigerians back home, or if you find yourself in Lagos, those are the things you know.
If I'm back home, I'm asking you, where can we go eat? Like, what do you? That's all I'm concerned about. Is like, I want to get the food. But like, honestly, like, I don't think there's anything I want to ask. I think if like in going to Nigeria, if I was to go, I just want to experience Nigeria. Like, I want to be immersed in like what it's like to live in Nigeria, like your everyday hustle and bustle. Because some people live in Nigeria and they live in lavish life, and like they don't have to want for anything. And then there's others who have to like 6 o'clock in the morning, they're pounding the pavement, hustle, 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 hustle. And it's just like I want to know both aspects, like, because at the end of the day, like, you have that here too. It's just a different level of it, right? Because we're a little bit more governed here. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that there's a question that I have. It's just like, show me what you go through so I can understand better, right? Because like I'll say like, oh well, you can do this and this and that, but it's just like I don't know because I've never lived it. I've never been in your shoes. So just show me so I can understand better. Because that's all I want to do. I just want to understand your life more so I can be more appreciative or just be more cognizant of like why you live the way you do or why you do the things you do or you know, things like that.
Thank you very much for that. It's been a privilege having you, Kaydee, on our channel. I believe we've really touched a lot of things. It's been wonderful sharing your experience with us, and shout out to every Nigerian American that was born in America that might have some things that they go through. I hope this have given you room to realize you're not alone, and I hope you've been able to understand. I'm just one part of Nigeria that's telling you my own experience about how we see ourselves, and I hope this have created a room for you to want to connect yourself with our community to get to know more about ourselves, and to all Nigerians that are being still and living in the stereotype world of how we think Americans see us or what we think. Kaydee has been somebody that has made us understand not every part, irrespective of what you might experience. There's still another part of like Kaydee out there that's willing to, you know, give it a try to get to know you and embrace our culture. And that's one thing we're preaching. And this is CTD Among Blacks, and my name is Oyebanji Akins. You can call me DJ Fresh, or you can call me Fresh, and we are live in Houston, Texas, United States. It's been a privilege for me living in the United States. It's been a privilege living in H-Town, and for anywhere you might be representing your way, your city, your country. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can put your state, your city down, a shout out to that place where you are, and that will give us the room to get to know you and to connect with you and to know you're listening to us. And if you listen to us on audio, you can easily write us on ctdamongbblacks@gmail.com to let you know, give us any word of encouragement you might have. We're open for that. You can reach out, tell us anything you think what you think we could try to amend or try to talk about on our channel. We're all open for that. I'll wrap it up by saying this, like I always tell people, it doesn't have to make sense now, whatever you're doing, but make sure what you're doing is going to help the world and humanity. It's going to make sense in a couple of months, years, time that people will tell us, oh, I didn't see what you're doing now. It makes a lot of sense. So don't get too tired. Don't lose hope. Just keep doing what you're doing. It doesn't have to make sense now, but definitely in the future, it will make a lot of sense. So I remain fresh until next episode. Thank you for listening to us, and talk to you some other time.